You know the feeling. It's not loud. It's not obvious. It's that quiet, unsettling sensation that crawls up the back of your neck when someone smiles at you and something in your gut says, "That isn't real." The compliment lands wrong. The concern feels hollow. The loyalty seems just a little too convenient. And everyone around you says the same thing. Be the bigger person. Rise above it. Forgive and forget. Take the high road. But here's the question nobody wants to answer. How many times have you taken the high road? And how many times did it cost you? How many times did your patience get mistaken for weakness? How many times did your silence get read as permission? Being the good guy feels righteous in the moment. But if it keeps leaving you drained, disrespected, and outmaneuvered, maybe the problem isn't your values. Maybe the problem is your strategy. Let's be honest about something most people never say out loud. The world is not a stage for saints. It never was. It is a chessboard. And if you've been playing it with the instincts of a decent person surrounded by people who have no such instincts, you haven't been losing because you're weak. You've been losing because you've been playing the wrong game. For too long, you've been a pawn in someone else's strategy. Moved when it suited them, sacrificed when it was convenient. And the whole time, they wore the face of a friend. This video is not about becoming cruel. It's not about becoming someone you're not. This is about becoming effective. We are going to take the cold, precise, strategic wisdom of Niccolò Machiavelli, a man who understood human nature at its most ruthless, and use it to surgically remove the two-faced, the treacherous, and the quietly toxic from your life. So cleanly, so deliberately, that they won't even fully understand what happened. No explosions, no confrontations, no drama. Just strategy. 5 Machiavellian tactics that will help you reclaim your power from the fake people who have been quietly feeding off it. But before the tactics, you need to understand the real nature of what you're dealing with. Because a fake person is not just someone you dislike. That framing is too simple, and it costs you. A fake person is a strategic problem. They are operating with an agenda, and the agenda is usually invisible until the damage is already done. Think about the coworker who compliments your work loudly in meetings, and then quietly takes credit for it in the rooms you're not in. Think about the friend who shows up reliably for your wins, who celebrates with you, who tells everyone how close you two are, and then completely disappears the moment your life gets hard. Think about the person in your life who is always the victim, always suffering, always in need, who drains your energy down to nothing and then somehow resents you for not having more to give. These people don't operate through direct attack. That would be too obvious. They operate through subtlety, passive aggression disguised as concern, compliments with just enough edge to sting, fake loyalty that evaporates precisely when it would cost them something. And here is the mechanism that makes it so effective. They feed on your reaction. Every time you get confused, frustrated, or emotional, they win. Confusion is not an accident in these dynamics. It is the weather they deliberately create, because a confused person is an easier person to control. You start to doubt your own read on situations. You start to wonder if you're being too sensitive. You start to second-guess your judgment, and that internal noise, that erosion of your own confidence, is exactly what they need to maintain their position. Machiavelli understood this. He understood that in the game of power, you cannot afford to act on feelings alone. You must act on patterns, not what someone says once. What they do consistently, not the performance, the behavior when performance is no longer necessary. He wrote that everyone sees what you appear to be, but few experience what you really are. And that cuts both ways. It's time to stop appearing predictable. It's time to start becoming strategic. It's time to stop reacting and start observing. Because the moment you stop giving them the reaction they need, the entire dynamic begins to shift. Now, here is the first tactic, and it is elegant in its simplicity. Machiavelli once wrote that it is double pleasure to deceive the deceiver. Let that sit for a moment. Not just defeating them, doubling the satisfaction by using their own method against them. Fake people, especially the flatterers, the quiet saboteurs, the ones who weaponize praise. They have one critical assumption that keeps their whole operation running. They assume you'll react predictably. They expect you to either swallow their flattery like it's genuine, or get quietly annoyed at their subtle digs and give them the emotional reaction they came for. The mirror of deception removes both options. The method is disarmingly simple. You reflect their behavior back at them, but you do it with complete composure and just enough amplification to create doubt. A colleague drowns you in exaggerated compliments. Don't deflect awkwardly, don't accept stiffly. Match their energy, turn it up slightly and redirect it straight back. They say you're an absolute genius, that no one could have done this better. You smile, calm, unreadable. And you tell them that's generous, but honestly, you were just trying to live up to the standard they always set, that they're the real master. Watch what happens. Manipulators, because they lie constantly, have a finely tuned radar for insincerity. The moment you mirror them, something cracks behind their eyes, a flicker of uncertainty. Are you mocking them? Do you know what they've been doing? Are you running your own game? That uncertainty is everything. Their confidence depends on knowing how you'll behave. The moment you become unreadable, their strategy has no ground to stand on. You haven't raised your voice. You haven't accused them of anything. You haven't made a scene. You've simply entered the fog with them. And they can't fight in a fog they didn't create. But this is only the first move on the board. The tactics that follow require something colder, something more precise, and significantly more unsettling for the people who've been underestimating you. A fake friend shows up for the celebration. They're there for the champagne, the good news, the energy of a win. But when the work needs doing, when things get hard, when the cleanup begins, they're gone. And most people chalk this up to personality differences. They tell themselves not everyone is built for the hard times. But Machiavelli would look at that and call it what it actually is, a pattern. And patterns are data. The silent audit is not emotional. That distinction matters more than almost anything else in this video. The silent treatment is anger wearing a disguise. It is reactive, it is transparent, and it hands your power directly to the other person. This is something entirely different. This is a calculated, deliberate withdrawal, designed not to punish, but to reveal. Here is how it works. For a defined period, you stop initiating. You become slightly less available. You don't explain it, you don't announce it, you don't post about needing space. You simply go quiet, and you observe what fills the vacuum. What happens next is one of the most clarifying experiences you can engineer in your social life. The people who genuinely value you will notice the silence and reach out. Not to extract something from you, not to manage their own anxiety, but because they actually want to know that you're okay. No agenda, no performance, just real concern. But the fake person? They reveal themselves with almost mechanical precision. Either they don't notice at all, which tells you exactly how much your presence actually mattered to them, or they reach out with something that sounds like concern, but functions as an accusation. You know the message. Wow, you've been really quiet lately. Guess you're too busy for your friends now. Read that carefully. There is no warmth in that sentence. There is no genuine inquiry. That is a guilt trip engineered to punish you for withdrawing your attention. Attention they had come to treat as an entitlement. That message is not about missing you. It is about losing access to you. And that is the crucial difference. When someone can no longer control your behavior directly, they pivot to controlling how you feel about yourself. They make your boundary into a character flaw. Your silence suddenly becomes evidence that you're cold, distant, ungrateful. That reframe is not accidental. It is a pressure tactic. And now you can see it for exactly what it is. Your silence has starved them of the one thing they depended on, your reaction. And without your reaction, they have nothing to work with. If you want to take this further, there is a deeper layer to the silent audit called the collapse trap. You do not need a real crisis for this to work. You only need the appearance of one. Mention casually that you're overwhelmed, a difficult situation at work, a decision you're struggling with, something that would require a real friend to lean in. Then go quiet again. And watch. The people who move toward you when you signal difficulty, who ask questions, who offer presence, who don't make it about themselves. Those are your real allies. The ones who fade, who suddenly become busy, who change the subject or vanish entirely. They were never your allies. They were opportunists who valued what you provided, not who you are. You have now audited your circle without a single confrontation, without a single accusation, without a single moment of drama. Their behavior under controlled conditions has given you a clarity that months of ordinary interaction never would. You know who is a fortress. You know who is a liability. That knowledge changes everything about how you move going forward. Now, once you know who the leaks are, you need a way to confirm it with precision. Not suspicion, not gut feeling, evidence. Machiavelli wrote that a leader must be a fox to recognize traps and a lion to frighten the wolves. The fox comes first. Because if you cannot identify the trap, your strength means nothing. The loyalty bait is how you become the fox. The mechanics are simple. You plant a small, specific piece of information with the person you want to test. It needs to be believable. It needs to feel just sensitive enough that sharing it would make them feel important, like they're holding something valuable. You approach a coworker you've been watching, someone whose loyalty you're not certain of, and you confide in them, quietly, casually. Hey, I've been thinking about maybe moving to a different department. Nothing definite, I'm just exploring. Please don't mention it to anyone. And then you do nothing. You wait. You watch. You give it time to travel. Because real information always travels when the wrong person holds it. If that piece of information surfaces, if your manager starts asking pointed questions about your career plans, if you hear it echoed back to you through the grapevine with the specific details only that one person knew, you have your answer. No more wondering, no more second-guessing your instincts. You didn't act on paranoia. You created conditions that produced hard evidence. You engineered the truth out of a situation that would have otherwise kept you guessing indefinitely. And now you can manage information with surgical precision, giving real intelligence only to the people who have earned the right to hold it, and feeding carefully constructed noise to everyone else. You have moved beyond emotion. You are operating on evidence. And the tactics still ahead. They require you to think even colder, even more deliberately. Because the next level of this isn't just about identifying fake people, it's about making yourself untouchable to them. Fake people are not complicated. Strip away the performance, the warmth, the carefully constructed image of loyalty, and what you find underneath is a transaction. They are not in your life because of who you are. They are in your life because of what you provide. Your time, your energy, your emotional availability, your willingness to show up. These are the currency of the relationship. And most people never discover this until they accidentally stop paying. The no audit makes that moment deliberate. The mechanics could not be simpler. The next time someone who regularly relies on your goodwill makes a request, the friend who always needs a favor, the colleague who consistently needs help with work that is entirely their own responsibility, you decline. Calmly, politely, without elaborate justification. I'm sorry, I can't do that right now. That is all. No lengthy explanation. No guilt-laden apology, no renegotiation, just a clean, quiet no. And then you watch what happens next. Because what happens next is the entire point. A person who genuinely values you, not what you do for them, but actually you, will accept that boundary without resistance. They might be momentarily disappointed, but they will respect it. They understand that you are a person, not a resource. But a fake person experiences your no as something entirely different. To them, your refusal is not a boundary. It is a malfunction. You have stopped behaving the way you are supposed to behave, and that disruption triggers something in them that they cannot fully conceal. The resentment surfaces. Sometimes it's loud, passive aggression, a cold shift in their energy, a sudden distance that is designed to be noticed and felt. Sometimes it's more surgical, a guilt trip delivered with a wounded expression. I thought we were friends. After everything I've done for you. Listen to that language carefully. Sit with it for a moment. Because those words are not the words of someone who respects you. Those are leverage statements. They are designed to make you feel that your no has violated some unspoken contract, that you owe them your compliance, that withholding your time and energy is somehow a betrayal of the relationship. What they are actually revealing, in real time, with their own words, is that the relationship was never about mutual respect. It was about access. Your no has just exposed the entire architecture of what they built with you. And now you have something more valuable than a suspicion. You have a pattern confirmed by evidence, which brings us to the final tactic. And this one requires the coldest version of your thinking. Because once the tests are complete, once the patterns are undeniable, most people still hesitate. They give another chance, then another. They tell themselves things might change, that maybe they caught the person on a bad day, that confrontation will fix what strategy already revealed. Machiavelli had no patience for this. He wrote that if an injury must be done, it should be done so completely that retaliation becomes impossible. In practice, in your life, in your relationships, this means once you have confirmed the pattern, you do not give them a gradual fade. You do not have a dramatic confrontation. You do not send the long message explaining everything you've observed and everything they've done. That confrontation gives them exactly what they need: a stage, a narrative, and the role of victim. You will not win that scene. Nobody wins that scene except the manipulator. Surgical pruning is silence. Absolute, deliberate, final silence. You stop responding to messages. You stop engaging with their attempts to pull you back in. You become what psychologists call a gray rock, offering nothing interesting, nothing emotional, nothing reactive. Flat, unmoved, unresponsive. You do not disappear with anger. You disappear with indifference. And indifference to someone who fed on your attention and your reactions is the most devastating thing you can do. It is not cruelty. It is precision. When they inevitably complain to others, and they will, because they need an audience, they will be forced to explain why. They will have to provide context, and that context, more often than not, exposes the very behavior they were hoping to bury. You have not just removed a problem from your life. You have quietly communicated something to everyone watching, that your inner circle is not open access, that proximity to you is earned, that your trust, once lost through confirmed betrayal, is not renegotiated. Your silence has drawn the boundary more clearly than any confrontation ever could. Now step back and see what you have actually built across these 5 tactics. You learned to mirror deception and make the manipulator doubt their own strategy. You ran a silent audit and let behavior, not words, tell you the truth about who was real. You planted loyalty bait and let information travel to its source, giving you evidence over paranoia. You introduced a single, clean no and watched who respected it and who revealed themselves in its absence. And finally, you pruned with precision. No drama, no spectacle, just a quiet and permanent removal. You did not do any of this out of malice. You did it out of clarity. And that distinction is everything. Because you are not the same person you were at the beginning of this video. You no longer operate on hope or assumption. You operate on observation, on pattern recognition, on evidence. You have stopped being readable. You have stopped being predictable. You have stopped being available to people who were never genuinely invested in you. Machiavelli's world was brutal and political, but his core insight applies to every relationship you will ever navigate. The person who understands the game, who watches without reacting, who tests before trusting, and who removes without hesitation when the evidence is clear, that person does not get played. Not twice. You are no longer a piece on someone else's board. You are the one who decides who gets to sit at the table. And that is not arrogance. That is strategy. That is the only kind of power that cannot be taken from you, because you built it from the inside out.